first heard about Motionhouse actually through my own uh, research and experience on my website. I contacted them to actually do a feature on some stuff that they had done because I saw this interactive, huge spectacle, crazy thing that they were doing, and I contacted them, and they sent me some stuff back, and we never really hooked. And then I found out that they were coming here, and I was like, oh, perfect. So I looked into it a little bit more, and found out that they were, or they are, they're pretty much the premier dance theater ensemble out of the UK. They are known for sort of more spectacle, large scale works that this is the stuff they're known for. They're known for other things, but their big stuff is these large sort of spectacular things that are really tightly integrated with technology and multimedia elements and aerial work, a lot of bungee stuff, a lot of sort of rope climbing type things. And that's kind of how I got into it. Is just that kind of turned me on, so I looked them up. You go expecting, some lights, some music, and some dance, and that's pretty much what people go to expect and see, and that's what they get. Where they kind of deviate from that is their integration of all of their multimedia, their projection, their sound effects, their motion tracking, to allow the performers to interact with the space around them. That's pretty much, that's what distinguishes them from, I would say, something like a Martha Graham or ABT or anything like that. It's going to be a lot different in the fact that it's much more immersive with the technology that's involved. They use a number of techniques. They use primarily projection. They have systems in place that allow the scene elements that are being displayed, whatever that is, whether it's a graphic or whether it's, in a couple of cases, water or fire or smoke or whatever, color. When a dancer comes on stage, they are actually being tracked by software that tracks where they are in that space, and that in turn interacts with the scene. So, for instance, if you're, let's say you're projecting water, a pond, you could walk out, and wherever your feet hit the water, it actually splashes the projection of the water. So you're literally immersed. It's a lot like virtual reality, except in this case, you're on the outside of it, looking at it as sort of the scene box. Anybody that's involved in theater technology, scene technology, theater design, dance design, anything like that, they're going to get a lot out of it just for the fact, just for what it is. I mean, we don't, like I said before, I mean, we don't really see that every day, and to see it at that kind of level here is pretty huge. With the particular piece that they're bringing, I'm not sure the entire night as far as the whole repertoire, but they are bringing a piece called Scattered, which they premiered, and it's primarily based on water. The whole thing is all about the interaction of people with water, how water affects us, how we interact with water, how we deal with water, how we're dependent on water. The cool thing about it is that since it's projected and since it so heavily relies on that, water's a great medium to project, because it can be everything from a still pond with one little tiny ripple to massive waves crashing to underwater, where things are just sort of floating and suspended, where you're not really even sure that, I guess you're in water. I don't know. I mean, there's any number of ways you can look at that, but that's what, and it can be different colors. It can be, dark blue. It can be green sea. It can be, bright. It can be all that. So it's really, it lends itself to projection pretty well. I mean, I don't think they could have picked a better medium. Motionhouse website, obviously, I believe it's motionhouse.co.uk. There are a number of other dance ensembles that do kind of the same thing, as far as real tightly integrated with projection and multimedia effects. There's one out of Australia called Chunky Move, which is real big on that. There's one here in the U.S. in New York called Troika Ranch that is real big on it. Pilabolus does a little bit of that. If you know, for the dance folks that are into the whole thing, Pilabolus is, they would know of that. They can look at the Clues Hall website, clueshall.org. We'll have a link on there for Motionhouse, and I think there's a couple videos on there as well, which could give you a pretty good idea about it. They could check my website, projectionfreak.com. I've got a whole dance category on there for different groups that do that type of thing, and you can learn a little bit about the technology there too, in case it's not too, you know, as it often is with me. It can be a little mind-boggling. I mean, anytime you can get internationally renowned modern dance in the city, which is quite frankly pretty rare, it's a good thing. I mean, you should go see it regardless of who it is. But you know, there's a lot there for the dance folks in terms of just the choreography and the content. For the technology people, for all the theater tech people, and all the people that are kind of into that whole thing, it's a huge deal, because you don't normally see that. You don't normally see that here. It's a rare occasion when it happens locally. So I would jump out and see it in a heartbeat. I mean, I'm going to have to see it because I'm on the crew, but it should be interesting.